the anti-inflammatory breakfast that stops pain, voice-over script. What if I told you that the chronic pain keeping you up at night, that stiffness in your joints every morning, that inflammation making simple tasks feel impossible, could dramatically improve in just 14 days by changing what you eat for breakfast? I know that sounds too good to be true, but stay with me, because what I'm about to share is backed by science that the pharmaceutical industry desperately hopes you never discover. I'm talking about real food available at your grocery store right now that works with your body's natural healing mechanisms to shut down inflammation at its source. And the best part? People over 60 are seeing results that their doctors can hardly believe. Today, I'm revealing the 5 anti-inflammatory breakfast foods that are changing lives, and I'll show you exactly how to use them starting tomorrow morning. But first, let me tell you why this matters more than you might think. Because what's happening inside your body right now isn't just about getting older. It's about a silent process that's been hijacking your health for years, and breakfast is where we're going to stop it. Let me paint you a picture. You wake up at 5:30 in the morning, not because you want to, but because your knees are throbbing. You sit on the edge of your bed for a few minutes, working up the courage to stand, knowing that first step is going to hurt. You shuffle to the bathroom, your joints stiff and complaining. By the time you make it to the kitchen, you're already exhausted, and the day hasn't even begun. Does this sound familiar? You're not alone. According to the Arthritis Foundation, over 54 million American adults have been diagnosed with arthritis, and the real number is likely much higher because millions more suffer in silence, thinking this is just what aging looks like. But here's what they don't tell you. That pain you're feeling isn't random. It's not just wear and tear. It's inflammation. A biological fire burning inside your body, and every single morning, without realizing it, most people pour gasoline on that fire with their breakfast choices. White bread, sugary cereals, processed meats, pastries, even that seemingly innocent glass of orange juice. These foods spike your blood sugar, trigger inflammatory responses, and set you up for a day of pain and discomfort. The medical community has known about the inflammation and diet connection for decades, but somehow this information never makes it to the people who need it most. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology followed over 5,000 adults for 15 years and found that people who consumed the most anti-inflammatory foods had a 46% lower risk of cardiovascular disease and a 52% lower mortality rate. Think about that. The food on your plate isn't just affecting your comfort, it's determining whether you get to see your grandchildren grow up. And breakfast is the most important meal because it sets your inflammatory response for the entire day. What you eat in those first 2 hours after waking either activates your body's healing systems or throws fuel on the inflammatory fire. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've tried everything. You've taken the pills, done the physical therapy, maybe even considered surgery. But nothing seems to work long-term, and you're tired of being disappointed. I understand that frustration completely, but what I'm about to share is different because we're not treating symptoms. We're addressing the root cause. We're going to work with your body, not against it. So let me show you exactly how to build a breakfast that stops inflammation in its tracks. The first food on our anti-inflammatory breakfast is turmeric golden milk, and this isn't just some trendy health fad. This is ancient medicine meeting modern science in the most beautiful way. Turmeric contains a powerful compound called curcumin, and curcumin is one of the most potent anti-inflammatory substances found in nature. Studies show it rivals the effectiveness of some anti-inflammatory drugs, but without the dangerous side effects. Here's what happens in your body. Curcumin blocks NF-kappa B, a molecule that travels into the nuclei of your cells and turns on genes related to inflammation. By blocking this pathway, curcumin literally prevents inflammation from happening at the cellular level. A groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food examined people with knee osteoarthritis. Half the group took curcumin supplements, the other half took a placebo. After 8 weeks, the curcumin group reported a 58% reduction in pain and stiffness. 58%. These weren't young people with minor aches. These were adults in their 60s and 70s who had been suffering for years. Some of them were able to reduce or even eliminate their pain medications. Now here's how you make golden milk the right way, because preparation matters. In a small saucepan, warm 1 cup of milk. You can use dairy or non-dairy, whatever agrees with your system. Add 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric, a quarter teaspoon of black pepper. This is crucial because black pepper increases curcumin absorption by 2,000%, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a small piece of fresh ginger if you have it. Warm this mixture gently for 5 minutes, then add a teaspoon of honey or maple syrup. The fat in the milk also helps with curcumin absorption, which is why this works so much better than just taking a turmeric capsule with water. Drink this every morning, preferably on an empty stomach, and you'll start noticing changes within a week. Your joints will feel looser, that morning stiffness will ease up, and over time, those deep aches that you thought you'd live with forever start to fade. But here's something important. Consistency is everything. Curcumin doesn't build up in your body like medications do. You need to consume it regularly to maintain its anti-inflammatory effects. Think of it as medicine you drink, not just a beverage. Now, while that golden milk is working its magic on inflammation, the second food we need to talk about is omega-3 rich foods. And specifically, I want you to focus on wild-caught salmon, sardines, mackerel, or if you're not a fish person, walnuts and flax seeds. Here's why this is non-negotiable for an anti-inflammatory breakfast. Your body is constantly producing signaling molecules that either promote or reduce inflammation. When you eat omega-3 fatty acids, your body converts them into resolvins and protectins. These are specialized molecules that actively resolve inflammation. They don't just reduce it, they tell your immune system that the inflammatory response can stop now. The Western diet has created a massive problem. Most people consume 20 times more omega-6 fatty acids than omega-3. Omega-6 comes from vegetable oils, processed foods, grain-fed meats. And while omega-6 isn't bad in itself, this ratio imbalance tips your body toward constant inflammation. It's like having an accelerator stuck down and no brake pedal. But when you add omega-3 rich foods to your breakfast, you restore that balance. You give your body the brake pedal it desperately needs. A study from Harvard Medical School followed over 19,000 adults for 11 years and found that those with the highest blood levels of omega-3 fatty acids had a 23% lower risk of dying from heart disease and a 17% lower overall mortality rate. Another study published in the Annals of Rheumatic Disease showed that rheumatoid arthritis patients who consumed omega-3 supplements experienced less morning stiffness and were able to reduce their anti-inflammatory medications. So what does this look like at breakfast? A 3-ounce serving of wild-caught salmon alongside your eggs, a small tin of sardines on whole grain toast. Or, if you prefer a plant-based approach, add 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed to your oatmeal or smoothie. If you're using walnuts, a quarter cup gives you an excellent omega-3 boost. The key is getting these fats in early because they help regulate your inflammatory response throughout the entire day. And here's a preparation tip that makes all the difference. Buy frozen wild-caught salmon fillets and keep them on hand. The night before, move 1 fillet to the refrigerator to thaw. In the morning, season it with a little salt, pepper, and lemon juice, then bake it at 400 degrees for just 12 minutes. It's that simple. You now have a powerful anti-inflammatory protein that most people think is only for dinner. But wait until you hear about food number 3, because this one is probably sitting in your refrigerator right now, and most people have no idea how powerful it is for fighting inflammation. I'm talking about berries. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. These little fruits are absolute inflammation-fighting powerhouses, and the science behind why they work is fascinating. Berries are loaded with compounds called anthocyanins. These are the pigments that give berries their deep red, blue, and purple colors. But anthocyanins do something remarkable in your body. They reduce the production of inflammatory cytokines, the chemical messengers that signal your immune system to create inflammation. At the same time, they increase the production of anti-inflammatory cytokines. So they're not just blocking inflammation, they're actively promoting your body's natural anti-inflammatory response. A study from Harvard School of Public Health followed over 93,000 women for 18 years. The research found that women who ate the most blueberries and strawberries had a 34% lower risk of heart attack compared to those who ate berries rarely. Another study published in the Journal of Nutrition examined older adults with metabolic syndrome. After 8 weeks of eating blueberries daily, participants showed significant decreases in inflammatory markers, lower blood pressure, and improved insulin sensitivity. But here's what really excites me about berries for breakfast. They work synergistically with the other anti-inflammatory foods. When you combine berries with omega-3 rich foods and turmeric, you create what researchers call a complementary effect. The whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Your body's anti-inflammatory response becomes stronger and more sustained. Add 1 cup of mixed berries to your breakfast every single morning. Toss them in your oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or simply eat them fresh alongside your eggs and salmon. Frozen berries work just as well as fresh, and they're often more affordable and convenient. In fact, frozen berries are typically picked at peak ripeness and frozen immediately, which preserves their antioxidant content. Don't overthink this. Just get a cup of berries into your body every morning and let them do their work. Now, food number 4 might surprise you because so many people have been told to avoid it. I'm talking about green tea, specifically matcha green tea. And before you say you're a coffee person, hear me out, because what green tea can do for inflammation is something coffee simply cannot match. Green tea contains a powerful antioxidant called EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. EGCG is so effective at fighting inflammation that researchers have studied it as a potential treatment for rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, and even certain cancers. Here's how it works. EGCG inhibits the production of inflammatory enzymes and suppresses the activation of inflammatory genes. It's like having a master switch that you can flip to turn down your body's inflammatory response. A study published in the journal Arthritis Research and Therapy found that EGCG reduced the severity of arthritis in laboratory models by 50%. Human studies have shown similar promise. Research from the University of Michigan found that people who drank green tea regularly had lower levels of C-reactive protein, a key marker of inflammation in the blood. But here's where matcha becomes even more powerful than regular green tea. When you drink regular green tea, you steep the leaves and throw them away, getting only a fraction of the beneficial compounds. With matcha, you're consuming the entire ground leaf, which means you're getting up to 10 times more antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds in every cup. Make this part of your breakfast routine. 1 teaspoon of matcha powder whisked into 8 ounces of hot water. You can add a splash of milk and a touch of honey if you prefer. Drink this after your golden milk or alongside your anti-inflammatory breakfast. Some people worry about caffeine, but matcha contains L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes calm alertness without the jitters or crash that coffee can cause. You'll feel focused and energized, but calm and centered. Now, the 5th and final food might be the easiest one to add to your breakfast, yet it's incredibly powerful. I'm talking about nuts, specifically almonds, walnuts, and pistachios. These aren't just healthy snacks. They're inflammation-fighting medicines that happen to taste delicious. Nuts are rich in vitamin E, magnesium, fiber, and healthy fats. But what makes them special for inflammation is their unique combination of nutrients that work together. The vitamin E in nuts is a powerful antioxidant that protects your cells from inflammatory damage. The magnesium helps regulate your immune response and reduces inflammatory markers. And the fiber feeds beneficial bacteria in your gut, which produce short-chain fatty acids that have anti-inflammatory effects throughout your entire body. A massive study published in the New England Journal of Medicine followed over 118,000 people for 30 years. The researchers found that people who ate nuts daily had a 20% lower death rate compared to those who never ate nuts. They had significantly lower rates of heart disease, cancer, and respiratory disease, all conditions driven by chronic inflammation. Another study specifically looked at older adults with metabolic syndrome. Those who ate almonds daily for 12 weeks showed significant reductions in inflammatory markers and improvements in insulin sensitivity. Their blood sugar levels stabilized, their inflammation decreased, and many reported feeling better overall. Add a 1/4 cup of mixed nuts to your breakfast. You can sprinkle them over your oatmeal, toss them in your smoothie, or simply eat them on the side. If you want to maximize their benefits, buy raw nuts and lightly toast them yourself. This brings out their flavor and makes them more digestible. Avoid nuts that are heavily salted or coated in sugar and oils. You want the pure, whole food to get the full anti-inflammatory effect. Now here's something most people miss, and this is crucial for making this anti-inflammatory breakfast work long-term. Timing matters. Your body's inflammatory response follows a circadian rhythm. Inflammation is naturally higher in the morning, which is why so many people with arthritis feel their worst when they first wake up. This is actually the perfect time to intervene with anti-inflammatory foods because you're catching that inflammatory spike right when it's happening. Eat your anti-inflammatory breakfast within 1 hour of waking up. Don't wait until mid-morning when you're finally hungry. Your body needs these nutrients early to set your inflammatory tone for the entire day. And here's another critical point. Don't eat these foods in isolation. Combine them into one comprehensive breakfast. Have your turmeric golden milk with a salmon and veggie scramble, topped with berries and nuts, with a cup of matcha on the side. This isn't about picking 1 or 2 items. This is about creating a synergistic anti-inflammatory protocol that transforms your health. One more warning before we finish. Some people will try this for 3 days, not notice a miracle cure, and give up. That's not how healing works. Inflammation built up in your body over years, maybe decades. You're not going to reverse it in 72 hours. Most people start noticing subtle improvements within 1 to 2 weeks. Less morning stiffness, better energy, improved mood. But the real transformation happens at the 6 to 8 week mark. That's when people report significant pain reduction, better mobility, clearer thinking, and an overall sense of vitality they haven't felt in years. You have to commit to this. Give it 60 days and track how you feel. I promise you won't want to go back to your old breakfast habits. So let's recap what we've covered today. Start every morning with turmeric golden milk to block inflammation at the cellular level. Add omega-3 rich foods like salmon or walnuts to activate your body's natural resolution of inflammation. Include a cup of mixed berries to reduce inflammatory cytokines and boost anti-inflammatory signals. Drink matcha green tea for powerful EGCG that suppresses inflammatory genes. And top it all off with a 1/4 cup of nuts for vitamin E, magnesium, and gut-supporting fiber. This is your anti-inflammatory breakfast protocol. This is how you take control of your health starting tomorrow morning. If this information has been valuable to you, subscribe to this channel right now because I release new videos every week revealing the natural health strategies that actually work for people over 60. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And here's what I want you to do right now. Comment below and tell me which of these 5 foods you're most excited to try first. Are you team turmeric golden milk? Team salmon and berries? Let me know in the comments, and I'll respond to as many of you as I can. In my next video, I'm going to reveal the dinner foods that destroy inflammation while you sleep. Because what you eat before bed is just as important as breakfast for managing chronic pain and inflammation. You don't want to miss